All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the first day in the month of June 2025. I wish you joy, health, and blessings all through June. This is The Truth with Ben Jokes. Thank you for joining me on this brand new episode. The Minister of Health, Ali Pate, in his May 29th interview, looked Nigerians in the eye and said, "We now enjoy better health care under the administration of Bola Tinubu." Meanwhile, the state of our healthcare system today is the worst in the last 15 years, to the point that our doctors are running away for their dear lives. Yet, our Minister of Health got on air and lied to the nation. Minister of Education said the sector has greatly improved under Tinubu, even when we can see clearly that education has been bastardized, and even the bastardized version is unaffordable for parents who are still struggling to feed their homes. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs lied that they had used AI to identify poor people and that 15 million households had received 75,000 naira each as conditional cash transfer to them from Tinubu. But nobody has met any household that has received 1 naira. You can't see anybody that will say, "I received money." Yet they said 15 million households had received. So clearly, the plot is to say that they have done well. Even when the people are dying, then they move to rig the election and claim that the people rewarded them for their good works. But Nigerians can stop this plot if they want to. At this point, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, and every other tribe, the conversation should be, how do we get Bola Tinubu and his lying team out of office? And few hours ago, Tinubu and his team came up with another banger. Another ridiculous idea that shows that Tinubu may actually have a score to settle with Nigerians. Tinubu may have snatched power just to punish Nigerians for reasons that we don't know yet. How else would you explain the fact that Tinubu is setting up a tribunal to prosecute children who cheat in exams and throw them in jail when he himself is using a fake certificate? We are not encouraging students to cheat, but you can't be talking about prosecuting children for crimes that they learned from adults who were never punished but mightily rewarded for the same crimes. It is such a calamity. Before I show you details of this top story and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This video is actually hard to watch, but one of the reasons I brought it here is so that when we call these people ugly names, you will not say that we are being disrespectful. If I say Minister of Agric Abubakar Kyari has gone mad, you might want to say that I am harsh, but here is the Minister of Agric actually attempting to say in this video that food prices are cheaper today than they were when Tinubu took over. Watch this video.
The president has declared a state of emergency on food security in July 2023, shortly after he was sworn in. It was very obvious that the country was sliding into a situation where population is growing and food was becoming unavailable and unaffordable. So many factors, including COVID. Let me just start from COVID, which was 5 years ago, that impacted on food supply, and the flooding, the major floodings of 2022, and also the policy of the central bank where it had to design the Naira that had impacted farmers where there was no cash available in the rural communities. Farmers had to crash their prices to be able to raise some cash for harvest at that time, because it was October 2022, and also down the lane, March 2023, where they had to make preparations for the big wet season. And farmers were not able to do that. So the prognosis at that time was that there was no availability of food, and I think that was when the World Food Program and the FAO had raised a concern that we are going to face some severe deficits on our food come 2024. Then again, Mr. President, in his good wisdom, has given us the mandate to make sure that we not only do dry season, but into two phases. The first phase was the wheat dry season that we launched in November 2023, for the first time in a long time, that Nigeria had cultivated over 120,000 hectares of wheat. Then the second phase of the dry season was the rice, maize, cassava, and that also happened in a lot of states, mainly in the north. But then the wet season of 2024, we did the rice support across all 36 states, including the FCT. So that by and large was an effort by government to make sure the food was available. And I can boast my chest, and I can boast and hit my, thumb my chest that food prices had come to a certain level. I listened to my brother who was speaking earlier that said the food prices have not come down, or what have we met it? Has he found out what the trend was looking like when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over? If those steps were not taken, I wonder where we would have been by now. But as I'm talking to you, food prices have stabilized, food prices have come down. Maize is around 42,000 naira per bag. Even as I'm talking now, we have to work a situation where we have to balance consumer welfare as against farmer welfare. Because as it is now, even farmers are complaining that prices are so low for them to go into cultivation.
You heard that. This is the highest level of madness. But if I didn't bring you the video, if you didn't watch the video, you may not have believed me if I said it. So in July 2023, when a bag of rice was 50,000 naira, Tinubu declared a state of emergency on food security. Today, a bag of rice is still above 70,000 naira. Even if you claim it is 60,000 naira, is 60,000 lower than 50,000? And I wonder how the interviewer responded to the madness we just saw here from the Minister of Agri, because as an interviewer, you should have a note with prices of food before and after Tinubu prepared if you are going to interview the Minister of Agri. And all those projects about massive cultivation that he was talking about are not true. Maybe just in about 2 or 3 states, and the projects are not even massive. It's just for show. He said farmers are complaining that prices are too low. In which country? So when we were buying a mudu of gari for 80 naira, farmers did not complain that prices were too low. It is now that a mudu of gari is 1,000 naira that farmers are complaining that prices are too low. You are not well. And Nigerians began blaming Arise TV for allowing him to just lie to the nation like that unchallenged. This tweet here says, Arise TV, Channels TV, News Central TV. You people need to stop inviting these political jobbers to lie on national TV. Go to the market in your area and conduct your show. Or better still, invite traders and farmers to counter all these lies and propaganda. It is very irritating. I am telling you, it is so irritating to watch. And Oladapo Aziz here says, the gods of the land will strike him with eternal leprosy. With what I got from the market today, I am so furious. Now, and this tweet here says, shame on Arise News, a leader who could speak like this with the reality facing Nigeria, with high cost of living and inflation, saying it with confidence. My problem here is that Arise TV knows the truth. They can't shut this liar down on their station. Nigeria is doomed. Oladunjoye Adewale says, this Kyari is mad. The man is mad. He's a madman to open his mouth and say that the trend of food prices is better now than when Tinubu got into office. Now, let us look at the top story. Federal government wants to set up a court/tribunal to begin prosecuting students who cheat in examination. And guess who headed the committee that made that suggestion? JAMB Registrar Ishak Oloede, the man who just destroyed the lives of many students. In fact, they proposed that students should be invigilated like terrorists, like criminals, with CCTV cameras, body camcorders, and everything. Look at how the papers reported it. Federal government proposes examination malpractice tribunal to punish cheats. The federal government has proposed the establishment of National Examination Malpractice Court/Tribunal for prompt prosecution of examination infractions to serve as deterrent to others. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said this in Abuja while receiving a committee report on improvement of quality examinations, affirming the recommendations of the 17-man committee headed by the Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. The minister had said it will improve the quality of examinations in the country. Mr. Alausa assured the committee members that the 12-point recommendations would be implemented, noting that the government would deploy its machinery to fight the menace of examination malpractice. He said, "Let me assure the committee members that you have done so much work here, and the recommendations you have given us as a government, we will implement every single one of them. All the 12 recommendations that you reeled out, everyone will agree with me today that none of them will be impossible to implement. They are all practicable things. Those that will be implemented now, we will do that right away," he said. In one of the recommendations, the committee urged the Federal Ministry of Education to interface the National Assembly to enact law establishing a National Examination Malpractice Court/Tribunal for prompt prosecution of examination malpractices. The committee also recommended that documents, including certificates, registration and result slips, should contain national identification number, photograph, and date of birth of candidates to guard against identity theft and impersonation. The committee also recommended that examination halls and centers should be equipped with stationary CCTV cameras for surveillance and monitoring purposes. It stated, in addition, every examination center shall have a mini control room where the CCTV camera is monitored for urgent and immediate alerts, because students are now Boko Haram. The committee also recommended that examination bodies shall jointly own central control facilities for their use during examination to save cost, and body camcorders should be deployed to examination halls and centers for effective monitoring. Even insurgency and terrorists, they have not done this to them. They have not monitored Boko Haram like this. Camcorder, cameras, CCTVs everywhere. You did not put it in Yemi Cardoso's office in CBN to monitor the money they are stealing. You didn't put CCTV where they hold closed door meetings and plan on how to ruin the treasury of this country. It is small children, students, defenseless small boys and girls that you are destroying their lives, taking loans for them to come and pay in the next 15 to 20 years. They are still the ones you are putting CCTV camera everywhere, wearing body cams to arrest so that you can prosecute and jail them. How many of you are using original certificates? Did the whole country not hear about the forgery from Chicago University? What did the Supreme Court do about it? But it is students that you want to jail. Now, let me state once again that I am not in any way encouraging students to continue to indulge in examination malpractice. I am not supporting it. What I am saying is that when there is a vice in the society, you have to look at it holistically. You don't go straight to saying, let us begin to punish children because a vice is spreading amongst them. It's the same thing we are saying about insecurity. We have said that one of the major causes is poverty. So you treat root causes and not just go straight into saying you want to begin to prosecute children, students, teenagers, and throwing them in jail. Why are these teenagers tending towards examination malpractice more than we used to have it in this country? Number one reason is because there is a decay in the education itself. You go to these schools, in many classes you will not even find teachers. The system itself is failing the students, so you have to address that. Then secondly, we are in a society where education is being seen as something that does not have value, because you find a professor receiving salary of 400,000 naira monthly, then a National Assembly member, those same fools that gather to do that, to bring that report that they want to be jailing students, they will be receiving 2 million, 3 million, 5 million monthly for doing virtually nothing. You look at a senator collecting 2 billion naira for constituency allowance, someone who probably forged his certificate. So where is the motivation for the average Nigerian students to want to face his studies? Where is the motivation? And then, of course, you have a man who forged a certificate from Chicago State University sitting there in such an exalted office, and under his regime, you are going to set up a committee to prosecute and jail students who cheat in examinations. It does not add up. What I am advocating is for unified justice. There should be justice for everybody. Anybody who has sinned should be punished. We should not be backing some people and be moving to punish others. If we want to have a great society, then all hands must be on deck to sanitize it. But of course, I know the APC, they don't mean to sanitize this country. They are only out to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that for us to have a country that we can be proud of in the near future, as a matter of fact, for us to have a country at all, we must come together, keep our sentiments aside, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.